was one of the very first ones that I began to write after High Water, our first album, was released. We were going through a lot of changes after High Water. Our keyboard player left and we knew that our bass player was leaving. And this song kind of came about during that time period. So the I Was Only Blind lyric with the melody came right at first. And then I kind of had to think about what was going to come next. I knew it was something, and that's what a lot of times the seed is planted and you're kind of like, what is this going to be? You know, where does this come from? So once I had I Was Only Blind and I knew, okay, this song is going to be about me kind of, you know, putting the blinders on and trying to work through something without working on the dysfunction. I started writing words. I'll get an idea like that, and then I'll just start throwing spaghetti at the wall and writing all kinds of lyrics in the journal, and then eventually once I get like 2 pages, you know, maybe 3 or 4 times as many lines as I need, then I'll go out and I'll go and put brackets around the ones that work, and then I start to sort of arrange them in terms of, okay, these lyrics work better here and these ones work better later. So for instance, you know, the first line, I should have seen it coming down the avenue. Why'd I go and take my chance on you? That may not have been the first words that I wrote, but it started to make sense that was kind of the first idea, because you see it coming. As an artist and a musician, often I go through these phases of almost obsession where I work on something intensely. That energy may evaporate, and I don't know when it's gonna come back. Especially when I'm in the flow, it's this flow mindset where if you're working on it for a couple hours and then everything kind of falls away, and you can let every other intruding thought fall away and really focus intensely, then things start to flow in a way that almost feels like beyond yourself. It's not necessarily something that I know comes directly from me. It somehow comes partly from me and partly through this, I plug into some vibe or some wavelength that's happening, and it gives me this energy. Maybe I find it in myself, whatever. Maybe it's an extra cup of coffee or something, you know, or the right kind of weed. In order to be successful, you have to be blind to some of the things, some of the pitfalls of what you're going through. As an artist, you have to be intentionally, constantly silencing the voice of the critic and of the judge in yourself, and it's really easy to fall into the trap of insecurity and paralyzing insecurity, in the sense that you can't move forward if you're not willing to shut those voices down. A lot of the things that I'm saying here I know are not true. The grass isn't always greener, your love isn't always cleaner, you know. Life isn't necessarily just a dream. Although that line, when I say life is just a dream, that's a reminder to myself. All of these things that you're freaking out about and feeling worried about, life is just a dream. This is an illusion. This is not true. Everything we see is a reflection. We're not actually seeing the actual thing. We're seeing the light reflecting off of the thing. And what does that mean for us and our inner self? How does that relate to us? So when life is just a dream in a different light, if you can see it that way, it can allow you to practice this non-attachment idea and not get too hung up on all these things that are getting you down. You know, when you get that idea right, not when you can abstractly or conceptually think about that, but that when you can really try to incorporate that idea into your life, it allows you to hopefully be a little bit happier. Happiness isn't necessarily the right word, but content. If these are the only struggles we face, then we're doing pretty good. And so it's a pretty good dream, ultimately, when you get that right. You know what I mean? So.